Hello everyone, my name is Satish from Samsung and I'll be talking about innovation and popular culture today. So what do we mean by popular culture? Popular culture is everything that we see around us in a given context, in a given society. Music charts, blockbuster movies, the top novels that people get to read in a particular society, the kind of food that you eat. And very recently, you have the mobile phone phenomenon, the social networks, and popular culture is everything of these. So essentially, popular culture is what we see around us on a day-to-day basis and what we get to hear on a day-to-day basis, and that's precisely what it is. The question is, do we see innovation in popular culture? And that is the key question that we are trying to answer today. And one of the richest sources of media to look at is the movies. Movies have been part of the popular culture, and it's also one of the biggest sources of technology, future vision, and we just will look into how movies and the technologies and visions which have been showcased in movies have influenced personalities in the technology field, companies, industries. We'll just make an analysis of this and we'll try and conclude if today, particularly today, when we are seeing a lot of companies who go to patent wars and patents and technology is becoming so crucial, what kind of a role is innovation and popular culture playing? That's one of the key takes. How seriously should industry be in the popular culture, and specifically from an innovation point of view? So let's look at a few movies. And for example, if you look at the user interface, interaction, technologies that we see today, you would have seen a lot of movies have showcased what kind of a user interaction experience that we could have in the future. For example, we saw this movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and Space Jam, quite a few others also, wherein you saw synthetic characters along with real characters. Now, for example, this was showcased early 90s. But then today, the industry is seriously looking at having immersive experiences where you're a real person who will be having some kind of a communication with somebody else, and for the experience point of view, you could have a synthetic character who could be sitting right next to you. So essentially, you could be talking to a synthetic character to give you more realistic feeling. But then that's something that was showcased in movies quite some time back. So today, if you're working for an immersive telepresence company, you more or less have some kind of an intuitive feeling as to what people would expect such a technology would showcase. Because I mean, they've seen it. They've seen it in the popular culture. They've seen it in the movies. So user interface and user interaction is one rich space where the movies have showcased quite a bit of how exactly, essentially the feeling of how you would sense these technologies. Augmented reality is another example where, for example, in the movie Terminator, you saw there's a video clip and there's a lot of information being overlaid on the video clip, essentially showcasing what to make sense of the video clip or a picture or something like that. So today, you already have augmented reality softwares in the Google Store, for example. You could download it, and there are these maps where a user could go and tag a map after he's visited the site. So essentially, if somebody else is looking at the map, so he gets to see your tags, and then these are useful information. For example, oh, this was a beautiful site. I had a nice experience in this place. Please do visit if you're around here. And if you're watching the same site through augmented reality software or a mobile phone, you could basically see these tags and you could make a judgment as to whether you want to see it or not. I mean, useful overload information, but there's a lot of information which is available. Most recently, you have the Google Glasses, and there's quite a bit of information available on Google Glasses, and essentially they're trying to achieve the same. You have information on the go. I mean, that's precisely what it is. But then again, the experience of this was already available to us in the movies. So it was available in the popular culture. We could see it. I mean, we had some kind of an intuition as to what we could see when Google announced Google Glasses. I mean, I for one had intuitive feeling as to what it would be like, because you've seen it as an example in multiple movies. If we take the example of virtual reality, multiple movies have showcased virtual reality. There was Brainstorm 1981. There was the Lawnmower Man movie. There was the movie Disclosure showed how exactly the virtual reality database would look like. So you have a very rich user experience where you're just flipping the document, and the way you traverse the documents, the way you would traverse different segments of the documents. So in reality, if you look at it, virtual reality databases are becoming popular. You have XML-based language which could be integrated with a browser, VRML browsers which support these kind of applets on which you can actually integrate your databases, and the way it would be presented to an individual would be very dramatic. The experience would be very dramatic. But then we knew precisely, seeing the movies, how it would look like. So, for example, if you were to be working for a virtual reality company and you get into a brainstorming session, you have an intuition as to what one would expect. The interesting part here is not only are the popular culture creating an expectation, you're forced to meet such kind of an expectations. You know what exactly the expectation of the popular culture is by more or less knowing the acceptance of certain of these technologies. So more examples, for example, Minority Report, which is one of my favorite movies, especially in terms of the number of technologies that it showcases, had this variable gesture interface. This was in 2002. And in 2009, we had MIT demonstrating their Sixth Sense, which was one of the variable gesture interface. Today, we have the Microsoft Kinect, and you get to see the demo in every single mall that you might visit. So, I mean, it's in the popular culture. It is into the popular culture. But then again, we had some kind of an expectation as to what it was because we had seen it in the movies much earlier. So, there are quite a few other technologies which, for example, if you look at those other technologies which were showcased in Minority Report, this e-newspaper, you have this thin film which rolls out, and every single day it downloads a different the day newspaper, and you get to see it. I mean, you do see a lot of companies working on nanotechnologies, printable electronics, and foldable display screens. We still don't see it in the market, but then again, at least we get to see that there are companies working on this, and there are demonstrations which have been done. There was one interesting technology which the Minority Report movie showcased, which was biometric personalized ads. So you're walking through a mall, and there is some device invisible to you, which is sensing that you're this person. You are this person. And then again, it can showcase very personalized ads to you. I mean, it's still very imaginative, but then again, that's where the innovation comes in, because it's quite open for startups to think about and do things on this stuff. More examples. For example, we saw this universal language translator in the movie Star Trek. Universal language translator is very popular device, especially in the military, and in countries which have multiple cultures and multiple languages. Yeah, so I mean, this is one of the technologies which is very much available today. It's just a matter of the complexity and the scale and number of languages supported. So in the areas of communication, for example, it was way back in 1946 that one of these Dick Tracy comic strips introduced a two-way wrist radio. And it's gone a full cycle. And very recently, we saw an industry announcement. Motorola announced their Moto Active, which is basically a phone form factor, all kinds of device. I mean, it has all kinds of stuff, communication aspects to it, pedometer. It can monitor your health, kind of stuff we're talking about. Just this slide also shows a few more examples of how technology was showcased and what we are seeing today. For example, tablets. Tablets were showcased way back, and anybody who was a serious Star Trek buff had clearly a view of what tablets had to look like. It wasn't a question of what it will look like. It had to look like this, and that's precisely how it looks like today. So we've seen hologram being becoming more and more popular today because of this telepresence and immersive telepresence technologies. You see a lot of these kind of clippings, which is coming in various form factor on the web. But then again, there are a whole bunch of companies working on telepresence, which basically makes use of hologram. Different levels of maturity, but then again, yes, they are seriously working on this, and we get to see some demos from time to time. In the area of healthcare, we had this tricorder from Star Trek. You have one single device which can scan a person and give the status of his health. So today, it's a serious matter for the industry. Qualcomm has announced a $1 million prize for a company or a person that can make this device and should be able to at least detect 15 mentioned devices. This is something that is possible today through a technology called hyperspectral imaging, and it's emerging very fast that hyperspectral imaging can give us the technology in a form factor that we can hold in our hand, which can scan a person and precisely tell you what is wrong with them. And currently it is being toyed around primarily in the food area. You just scan a tomato and you get to know whether it is fresh or it is not fresh. So that's precisely where the industry is heading towards. But then again, Qualcomm was directly influenced by this movie Star Trek, and that got them thinking. So you see, there are movies, there is a notion of technology in the popular culture, and there are companies who are driven by such kind of a vision, and then we get to see all kinds of devices which cater to such kind of technologies. In the areas of transportation, we've seen flying cars in multiple movies. I mean, not just one movie, multiple movies. And one example of a company which tried to attempt doing this, though not in the very commercial domain, but I mean, I would say it was just a matter of time. There was one company which showcased a Honda Civic form factor car which could take off and land and could have folding wings and that kind of stuff. And exoskeletons, we've seen this in multiple movies, latest being in Avatar. But exoskeleton is becoming serious business. The military is of course interested in it, but even the medical industry is very much interested in this. And there's quite a number of companies which are springing up primarily in this area. And we've seen a lot of prototypes happen in recent years. I've taken this example of Skateboard, which we saw in the movie Back to the Future, Part 2. And there was a company which was so motivated by this movie that they almost tried to build a prototype of this. Though not very successfully, but then again, they have a prototype which can go over snow, it can go over pavement. So at least, I mean, we get to see a demo and there's a technology demonstrator which is good enough, maybe, I mean, it will get popular someday. Hydrocars, we saw this in James Bond movie, and there was another company called Rinspeed which did a prototype of this. It was an electric car, directly motivated again by the movies. A bit more futuristic, but then again, so we saw the Star Wars movie which showcased the ion engines. Basically, you have this high-powered accelerators which will shoot ions, and that will produce the thrust. We have a NASA design based on this. So technologies that we see in the popular culture is serious business. And we'll also see how serious business this is and how it is actually shaping and influencing the industry more so today than at any given point in time in history. And this is becoming serious business today. Another example, primarily from the military technology, robots who can scan, can do your spy jobs for you. One more example of what a ray gun should be. Then again, the US military goes and does something about this, and you have some kind of a prototype system available with them. So we come to the question of innovation in popular culture. Should the industry be really serious about this? More so today, we have examples of companies who are fighting patent wars in the courtrooms and taking video clips of these movies to the courtrooms to help them showcase that there has been prior art for a given technology. And now that is serious business. So, for example, when a company sued another company saying that tablet, you're copying the look and feel of a tablet computer the way we have done it. There was this company which took the clippings of movies to the courtroom to showcase that it was already available. I mean, it was already available in the popular culture. Now, in very recent years, the subject of innovation in popular culture becomes a very serious business for industries because there are a lot of subcultures which are emerging specifically post Web 2.0. We've seen the social networks, we've seen this culture of blogging, we are seeing this culture of crowdsourcing, we are seeing the culture of prosumerism. What it means is the consumer is also the producer. In a sense, for example, if you want a bicycle of a particular nature, you go to a particular website of a bicycle manufacturing company, and you pick up the parts of the bicycle, and you more or less design the whole bicycle yourself. And all the company does is it manufactures the same thing to you and gives it back to you. So essentially, you're the person who's telling the company what you want. You're the designer of that particular product, and you get it back. So what is that company doing? He's more of a contract manufacturer to you. So this is the kind of technology that we're talking about when we talk about prosumerism. For example, Wikipedia is a classical example of prosumerism. You are the person who puts in content into the Wikipedia, and you are the person who consumes the content in Wikipedia. Wikipedia is more of a platform. It's more than that. This is not trying to trivialize this. But then again, yeah, I mean, that's precisely what we mean by prosumerism. So these are multiple facets of popular culture which the industry should be seriously looking at to drive innovation. Because, for example, when a person blogs about what future technologies he visualizes and what is the way in which TVs would evolve. Now, the serious question in the industry is, would that constitute a prior art? Would there be any copyright associated with the ideas published in that blog? A lot of gray element in this segment. For example, when we say crowdsourcing, there are people who come up with ideas, they showcase it in a particular website, a lot of people fund it, there are prototypes which come out. We are seeing that this is a phenomenon where big companies might take ideas from such small startups where they've gone to a level of prototyping and then take the mass manufacturing aspect of it. So this is huge. I mean, we are talking about a subculture here in a popular culture where a lot of innovation is happening. industry should be very serious about this. And I think more and more companies are realizing this, and that was the key point that we were trying to make in this presentation. So the only point that I want to emphasize here in this presentation is popular culture is a prominent place for innovation, and industry should be more and more serious about innovation in the popular culture. Maybe seed it or extract information from the popular culture, but then again, popular culture is an area for serious innovation. With that note, I close this presentation. Thank you.